Hi guys. Welcome. This is our third episode of us trying to adapt Deathnote into a functional fan adaptation. For those of you who are new here, as a reminder, this is a collaborative effort. So if you have any headcanons or anything that you would like to add to the script, or if you think that adding this little detail will enrich the experience or anything like that, I would love to take them into consideration and put them in. And whoever has headcanons will be properly credited and properly talked to, so that way they can, if this, that way they can be on the list of people. This is a fun fan adaptation. Unless one of you out there is a, executive producer for maybe Prime Video, maybe Netflix, who knows? Whoever wants to have a fan, collaborated script, I am open to it, because personally, the Death Notes of previous years have not been too pretty, to be honest. If I could do one good series where we could do Death Note justice. We know it's possible because the Broadway production did right. Broadway production did it fine, actually. I was actually happy with it. But sadly, outside of Broadway, we only have the anime that did it good until the second season, where I think it kind of fumbled the ball, because you have the ability to change it if you wanted to, change it a little bit so that way it's a little more entertaining. But sadly, they did not. They kind of fumbled the ball on that. But that's fine. That's what this is for. This is for going and trying to fix it. I want to make it to where we make a version of Death Note that we all love, that we can all accept is the perfect one. Not perfect, but the good version, right? We can agree. I want that, right? We can collaborate and make this a good one. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. Okay. So, as we do every single time, we read what we have so far. So, exterior Shinigami Realm Wasteland. Night. Decrepit creatures roam aimlessly across the barren wasteland. Ryuk, dark-winged creature, sits on a rock and watches two creatures playing some version of Shinigami chess. Ryuk, same old thing, day after day. What a bore. One player wearing a skull of a bear, while a mixed match of different animal hides adorn its body. The other player is covered from head to toe with bandages, sitting in a squat position, propping itself up with a scythe. Bandaged Shinigami. Two death heads. I win. Ryuk chuckles a little bit. Exterior human realm. Schoolyard. Day. A portal opens up in the sky and a book falls out of it. The book falls past a classroom window. A student is looking out the window with a bored expression. The book lands on the grass. The book has inscribed on it. It's covered. Death Note. Title sequence. 1 minute and 30 seconds. A hand loudly scribbles names on a book with a pen with red ink. The names write themselves across the page. Overlays of news articles scroll down. With every flick of the pen, an overlay of blood dripping till it pools into an ocean. A late 90s, early 2000s TV set plays the news with a Japanese reporter talking about a mass murderer while a person writes in a book next to it. A hand emerges from the shadows and snatches an apple from the bowl of apples. Oh, of apples, not apples. Apple. A creepy smile from the dark. We hear a chuckle. A bed covered with a comforter with a checkerboard pattern. Moving chess pieces overlay the bed. The hand stops scribbling and puts down the pen. The hand closes the book. The book has inscribed on the cover, Death Note. Exterior Shinigami Realm Wasteland. Night. The moon sets in a starless sky. Ryuk is looking at the sky. Ryuk mutters under his breath. 5 moons have passed. Someone must have found it by now. Ryuk stands up and the chess players look at Ryuk. Where are you off to, Ryuk? Predator Shinigami. It's not like there's anything interesting around here. Ryuk. I dropped my Death Note. Banished Shinigami. Again? Predator Shinigami. Another one. How are you going to explain this to the big guy? Banished Shinigami. You won't find another one like him. Ryuk. We'll see. Ryuk walks towards a pit where a portal shines brightly. In the portal, a city skyline can be seen. Ryuk extends his wings and flies down through the portal. Exterior human realm skyline day. Ryuk flies across the sky searching for the notebook. Ryuk. Who knew a single notebook dropped into the human realm would set off an all-out war between two chosen people? Interior classroom day. Student writes notes and listen to their teacher talking about World War II. Late teens wearing a preppy high school uniform and has his hair has hair that is box-dyed brown. Sits at his desk and stares out the window. Light. The world is a rotten mess. Mr. Yagami, do you know the answer? Light. Enigma. Mister. Correct. Light goes back to looking out the window. A notebook falls down past the window. Light watches it land on the grass. The bell chimes. Students get up from their seats and pack up their bags around Light. Exterior schoolyard day. The doors for the school building swing open and students walk through the open doorway. The schoolyard is well maintained and has multiple benches to sit on. Light walks from the open doorway with his fellow students and walks towards the grass area. He walks towards the notebook on the grass. He picks it up and dusts it off with his other hand. Light. Deathnote. Is this supposed to be a death god's notebook? Light opens the notebook and flips through the pages. Light. Geez, is it all in English? Ugh. Light closes the Deathnote and puts it in his bag. Okay, so yeah, that's what we have so far and what we've written in the past 2 streams. So yeah, as I said in the last stream, for those of you who were here, we were going to revise, not this one, we're right here, this area. The reason why, for those of you who are seeing this right now, that are clueless on why this is poorly written, the reason why is we kind of held off on this scene because of the fact that Light, because I had to research how is World War II taught in Japanese schools. And so, like, for example, World War II is not called World War II in Japanese schools. It's actually called they have 2 events that they call it. They call it the Great War. That's the part of the war where they are like going, it's pre-American involvement. Post-American involvement is called the Pacific War. So they consider it 2 wars instead of 1 war. So they call it the Great War, and then they call it the Pacific War. The one we're gonna be focusing on, because it has the Enigma machine, which I was right, it was made by a Japanese officer. Was made by a Japanese officer. What we're going to be focusing on is the Great War, because the Great War, they had the Enigma machine. Anyone who's not familiar with the Enigma machine was allowed Japan to encrypt their messages and hide them from other countries. And it took years until they found Alan Turner or something like that. And he had decrypted the red code that the Japanese had like been using. But the downside of it was that they could not fully they couldn't go and act on every single thing that they were able to encrypt after it, because if they did, it would prove that they cracked the code. And later on, when they figured it out, they then changed it to the purple code, which was then later decrypted. It was also cracked. So that is the thing. So basically, we are doing that. For those of you who are also wondering why I have Mr. here, it's up to you guys. If you guys want a name, a Japanese name teacher, like, come up with a name. I will take suggestions, because I'd rather this be like a fun little thing where you guys can come up with the teacher's name, because in the grand scheme of things, the teacher is like a one-off character for the most part. Like we'll probably have him in maybe a few more episodes, but then he kind of is like taken out of the series pretty much because like Light eventually graduates. So yeah. So if you want to leave, what I'm just gonna do is put Mr. Teacher. I'm just gonna call it Mr. Teacher until someone wants to give their naming suggestion. You know, any naming suggestion will do. I would love it. It would just be like the funnier the better, right? It could be funny. It could be like if you like actually want to be serious and like, oh yeah, I want this name because it means this, right? You could be serious with it, anything. But like it's up to you guys. Like do your thing. The only caveat that I do say is like go and like have it be somewhat of like a name that would make sense. Okay? We're not going for something where we could do a meme name, but we can't do like, you know, Infinamine, you know? You get what I mean? But yeah. So let's do this. I'm gonna add and tab and put it in parentheticals. Mutters under breath. Mutters under breath. Okay. And let's see. Mr. Yes, Mr. Teacher. During the Great War, let me fix that. During the Great War, the during the Great War, naval officials needed to to give updates about different operations. Different operations. During the Great War, naval officials needed to give up to date information about different operations without other countries listening in. Without other countries listening in. So they encrypted their messages messages. They encrypt. Oh, I forgot. Encrypted their messages with a modified typewriter. Modified typewriter. And then modified. A modified typewriter. They encrypted their messages with a modified typewriter. And they were successful in fending off enemy attacks. So, those of you are probably wondering why I'm writing it in the way I'm writing it, of like fending off enemy attacks. So it goes into also how Japan teaches their curriculum. Their curriculum's not focused on like, it's not focused on what exactly happened in the war. It's more on, it's not taking responsibility for what they did in the war. It's more focusing on, the war was a mistake, in a sense, is how the curriculum is taught, essentially. So basically, like, I'm writing it like this, of like, it was used so that way it's fending off enemy attacks. When we know in war, nothing is just fending off enemy attacks. It's war on both sides. So war is, there's two players that have to play in war, pretty much. So, and this also helps because then, Light kind of, like, because Light's smart. The reason why I'm choosing this is that, Light's very smart. So I would assume that he would kind of be like, oh yeah, like how the phrasing of that is messed up a little bit, because he would probably, like, considering that he studies a lot and he like wants to be a police officer and he wants to be someone that is very integral to the policing of Japan, he would probably read more on crime and justice and military action more than anybody else. And so I would assume that he would not just do that for Japan, but he would be that person who would want to read more information from other places to get the full scope. So that's the idea, right? So yeah, he says that. And then I think he says, does any what was the name of that machine? The name of that machine. What was the name of that machine? But yeah, and I'm not going to write an action in between here because I think that for Light, I don't think he even looks back at the teacher. right? He probably like has studied it so much and is so bored that like he like answers it while looking out the window and is like, huh? Oh, Enigma, right? Like he knows the answer. He feels like he doesn't need to be there type thing. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. But for the most part, we got that. I'm gonna get rid of this and put talking about the Great War. The Great War. The Great War. But yeah. But yeah, like finding that out is kind of interesting because it also explains a lot of Japanese anime, and how they like that. I always hear the Great War, the Great War, the Great War, and I always thought, oh, I guess like maybe that's World War One or something like that. No, they mean World War Two. I did not realize that until like I had like read up on this research. I was like, oh my gosh, geez, I am so clueless. How did I not like see? Geez, you know. But you know, you live and you learn. You do your thing because you know you're always trying to do your best. You know. Um. But yeah. how have your days been? Like me, I've like part of the reason why I dressed up like this today. Um. Other than me, I never liked wearing like the same outfit too many times in a row. I like to like change it up every once in a while. Um. And like um I like to change it up every once in a while cuz like why not, you know? Give it a try, you know? But I was the reason why I chose this one, which you could probably figure out where the jacket's from. Um it's from Matt Pat. I I watched him. He's doing his farewell tour, and like today his video for like, oh let's have our last meal. He was doing the last meal with Mythical Kitchen, and I was like, oh my gosh, like every time he pops up in his farewell tour, I'm like, oh my gosh, one day it's gonna be the last one. It's gonna be the last time, and then we're just gonna be, you know, MatPat's gonna be gone, and we're gonna be like, oh my, he's just not here anymore, you know? And it's kind of interesting when you think about it like that, where like there's gonna be one day where he's just not gonna be here anymore, and we're gonna like, it's just gonna be the end, you know? Like he'll pop in from time to time for the like the creator fashion show and stuff like that, and every once in a while when they're doing like a big event, but like we're not gonna really see him like on a weekly or other weekly or monthly basis anymore. We're just gonna see him like every once in a while when he pops in, which is kind and I am saying this with like knowing that he is still GT Live. He's still the face of that, but there's gonna be a day when he's no longer the face of GT Live, when Ash takes over or when someone else takes over, and we all have to be ready for the fact that he's just not gonna be there. And for me, I'm still like I've spoken about this before, but like he was one of my biggest inspirations, and so like it like seeing the farewell tour like hits hard. So yeah, but yeah, I was getting choked in my feels, I guess, about that, and I was like, damn, you know, but yeah, but I look, like I said in that previous video, I look at it as that we as content creators, he was paving the way for content creators and paving the road for what it meant to do analytics and do everything. He created the creator culture and everything like that. And we can either sit stagnant and be sad, or we can pick up the bricks where he left off and just keep going. And, you know, trying to pave new roads and create new avenues for everyone. to take part in it and new conversations, you know. So yeah. Okay, I went on a tangent. I'm sorry. I go with these tangents and then I get, oh my gosh. I'm just like, oh geez. Let me get my book. I have the black edition, which is the so for the Shinigami realm, all the pictures for the Shinigami realm are all in color, where everything is black and white for all the normal stuff. Okay, that's page 9. We are on page 11. We're on page 11. So for those of you who want to like take part in this and you want to play along, you can find Deathnote online for free. They have pages on, I think, the Viz website, I believe, where you can read the panels for free. So yeah. So if you have the book, open page 11. If you don't have the book and you're trying to figure out what do I mean, go to where he says I'm home. Like I'm home, and like those dumb chain letters that say you'll get cancer if you don't pass them on. Because that's the page we're on. Didn't mean to literally punch my keyboard, but okay. I did a thing. Fun. Great. Okay, so let's see. So light closes the Deathnote. So the page says I'm home. Okay. So reading it the correct way, the human whose name is written in the note shall die. Talk about sick. Why is everybody into this kind of crap anyways? Like those dumb chain letters that say you'll get cancer if you don't pass them on. I'm home. I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to flop these scenes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him walking home. And then him walking home, and then when he gets home, he's sitting there and he's like all the rules are like kind of like spinning around in the air, in a sense, and then he'll say, he'll say, talk about sick, you know? Ooh, hi, 1126, Luna. Nice to meet you. Let me see if I can see the, I can like translate that reply. It's not quite in a language I can understand, but I'm willing to check. Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah. You're new to Twitch. Oh, I'm kind of new to Twitch. I've only been doing it for 2 weeks. It's nice to meet you. I like, not many people have been like talking in the chat for me, so whenever I see someone chatting, I love it. Oh, you're from Russia. That's so interesting. Like what do you guys have anime over there? Like, not saying that you don't have anime. I'm bad. But what do you guys like follow, like what type of like shows do you guys watch over there? You know? Like I used to be able to see what you guys watch in other countries, and then I wasn't and then I like lost my VPN sadly. But like, yeah, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate your support. Um let me okay. Let me click it back into this. Okay. So, yeah. So I'm going to write the bare bones of what it says. All right. Let's see. Let's make it a scene heading. make a new scene heading, and it's gonna say exterior um lights house day. There. And then oh, you watch a lot of Russian stuff? Oh, cool. Um is there like any like um is there any like shows in Russia that you're like really into? Like like I assume you guys have your own like your own country shows. Like you're saying. But like what do you like so like what is some names of like shows you like in Russia? Um Ooh, it's kids shows. Marsha and the Bear. Oh yeah. My little one one of my younger siblings loves it. Loves watching it. He's still like at that younger age where like Marsha and the Bear is like a big thing. I know. I know. I got that vibe. It has a vibe in how like how they dress, and stuff like that. Though it is a weird choice that like Marsha doesn't really talk much. Like, I rarely, whenever I see it, I rarely hear anything coming out of Marsha's mouth often. But I don't know. Maybe that's how they do it. So that way it makes it easier for it to cross different like nationality lines. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah. Over here in like America, one of our big children's TV shows is like Bluey, for like adults and kids alike. Bluey's just ginormous in a sense. And like we in America we watch it a lot. Do you know Russians swim in ice water? No, I did not, but that's kind of cool. I live in a place where it's like super rainy, like all the time. It's either we'll have like 10-second rainstorms. So like we don't care, rain or shine. We'll swim in pools. Like we'll swim in a pool. It could be a full on thunderstorm and we'll be swimming pools. We do not care. Like it could be a tornado outside and we'll still be partying. Yes, I do. I do watch anime. My favorite anime of all time is Blue Exorcist. And I wish I could do an adaptation of it one day where I could just like go and just adapt it. And the sad part is I have the crew. I could do it. And like I can like go and film it because like in my area there's a humongous Japanese population, and a lot of our architecture is Japanese mixed with other cultures, and so I could get away with the look of Japan where I live, and for dirt cheap. Oh my gosh, yeah, My Hero. I'm actually doing a rewatch on Netflix because Netflix, My Hero just went on to Netflix. Bungo Stray Dogs. I haven't started it yet, but been planning on doing it. And Deathnote, I literally have all the books. I have the books. Deathnote, the reason why I chose it to be the one I adapted is because I kind of had this like kinship with it because of the fact that it was the first anime I chose to watch when I was going into anime when I was in middle school. So that was my first anime that I ever watched was Deathnote. I know, a very heavy one to start with. But I chose that one as like my first one. But because I loved how suspenseful it was. I really liked the chess game element of it, and I love that it was always like keeping you guessing in a sense. And also it was like a very warped view of reality. Oh, I love Chuya, Dasi, Rangpo, and Agusqua. They're my favorite in Dog Strays. Ah, I have to say, like, do you cosplay them? One of them? Like, do you have a like favorite cosplay from it? Oh, Julia. Oh yeah. I have to say, I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. I really don't. Let me type this up. Um, let's see. Modest. Family. How. How. Um. Hmm. Modest. Um. Modestly sized home house with a wooden electronic gate. Modestly sized electronic gate. There you go. Modestly sized house with a wooden gate. It the house matches not meets, geez. Matches every house on the street. Light walks towards the house and oh, how many languages do I speak? I speak English and Spanish, and a bit of sign language, and I can read a little bit of Braille. Ooh, 9 languages, pretty good. Yeah, you got me definitely outmatched. The reason why is I went to a disability school, so we kind of like, when you go to a disability school, so that way you're not put into separate classes, and you're teaching several different people, varying listening and seeing levels. They teach us all the same thing. So they taught us all Braille, and they taught us all English, and they all taught us all sign language, so that way they could teach everyone in the class at the same time. And I went to that school when I was very little. I went from when I was like 4 or 5 till like I was 9 or 10. I went there, and they taught us for a long time, and I was really fluent for a while. But when you don't speak the language for a long time, it kind of gets like, you kind of lose your grasp of it. I'm still trying to get back like some of the roots, my roots of like my sign language. I've kept on to it a bit, but I've lost it a bit. But the one that I've been working on that was the hardest to work on for a long time was Spanish, because that's actually one of my native languages. And the thing is that it's my mother's language. Oh wow, that's a lot of languages. Like you speak German, English, Japanese, French, Spanish, Polish, South Korean, Italianish, and Russian. Jeez, girly, you speak a lot. You're a polyglot. Jeez, yeah. Like I said, you got me outmatched. But yeah, my mother tongue, was Spanish, and then because I had to go into disability programs, where they had to pull me to a second class where I had to be taught, get extra lessons in English in order to be on the same level as everybody else. Oh wow, you've lived in many countries. Wow. But yeah, because I had to like, um I didn't get to learn that language at a young age. I lost it, and then I tried to learn it in high school, but I was only allowed to learn it online. So I had no human interaction. So I learned how to read and write it very well, and then be terrible at speaking at it. And it wasn't until recently where I went to college, and I'm in college, and I've been taking a Spanish course for 2 semesters to like get my Spanish back because my Spanish has just been, I haven't had the confidence to speak. And for me, I don't have the confidence to speak it yet on stream because it, like, even in English, I shut down and I have like I become selectively mute if I get too stressed out. So yeah, that's insane. Yeah. But yeah. But I used to get selectively mute, and I still do. And so like until I feel comfortable with like speaking Spanish, I'm not quite ready to speak Spanish on stream yet. But I'm hoping one day I will. But yeah. Let me see. Light walks towards the house. And types and stops at the gate. He pushes in. He types in a pin. He types in a pin on the keypad of the gate. On the keypad of the gate. The gate opens. The gate opens. And Light walks through the open gate. I know, I totally agree. That like so I think that it comes from people who grew up in a different time period of animation. Like my parents' generation of like growing up with animation did not grow up with with animation that was targeted towards adults for the most part. Their shows were more live action if they were targeted towards adults. So I think it's partially that they're not used to that idea of like anime being something that's not for kids and not for and it is more for adults. And older people because they have that association with animation. Like that's part of the reason why my dad will never touch any anime or stuff like that. He's fine with watching the live actions of the animes, like, which is mind-boggling. He's fine with watching the live actions of the animes, but he can't bring himself to watch the animation because he feels like it makes him feel a certain way. It makes him feel like he's watching something he's not supposed to, in a sense. And I think that's what it really is. It's the same problem with my dad with like video games. I can never get him into video games unless it's on a Wii, because he can't conceptualize that. He can't he can't bring himself to play something newer, so he can't play GTA for some reason. Do you know animes with names of Hayuk, Haku, and Blue Lock? Yeah. I'm not really into sports anime, to be honest. It's not my thing. I don't know what it is. It just is not for me. Sports anime are just not my thing. Same thing with painting ones. I can't do it. I'm more of someone where like it has to be where the character is like, it's a very specific group, but it's very it's either one, the main character is overpowered but is lazy and just wants to find smart ways to deal with the problem without actually using his powers. 2, the character goes so out of control, he can't do it. He can't do it. So like the My Hero Academias or like the Blue Exorcist. After I watched sports anime, then I started to like sports. Personally, like I don't really have many sports I'm really into. So like that's a losing battle with me. I'm not really into sports. Like I used to play like not American football, but like what we call soccer soccer here, but like what it's called everywhere else football. I used to play, and had my parents had to stop because I kept on getting kicked in the face by balls. I just kept on getting smacked in the face by balls. Not kidding. It got so bad my mom was worried about concussions. So yeah, that is the real reason why I stopped playing sports. And no matter which sport I played, that happened. So yeah, not really into sports. But I'm really into like film and TV and writing. That's why I chose doing this, because it's more of my speed of like just doing writing and stuff like this. Don't be embarrassed. It's just not what I'm into. Um, the gate opens and Light walks through the open gate. Um, he, jeez, my arm. I have this mic, but the problem is I don't have a boom arm. So I'm propping this stupid mic up with in between my chin and my shoulder. And it's a problem because my microphone keeps slipping. And I'm trying, but sadly I can't afford to buy one. I'm just like stuck doing this. Let's see. For sport lessons. Yeah. I mostly I'm one of those people where I don't want to ruin my iron-ons. So like I'm the opposite. I would not like be wearing my like Spirit Away shirts or like my Hazbin Hotel shirts to the gym, because like if I did, I would feel so bad that it would start crinkling and it would start like ripping apart. Especially a lot of my shirts are limited edition, so they'll never be made again. So yeah, I can't relate. He walks to the front door. Oh, Alistair. I can relate. Because the thing is, right? One, you don't see many asexual like icons. Like you don't see many asexual characters in media. I have to say Emily's a solid choice, but I got questions about Adam. Why? Give me answers. Why is Adam your favorite? Not judging, but I want to know. Plead your case, please. Okay. He's just like me. In what way, though? Like, isn't he, the whole point of him is like he's like a jerk? Like, in what way? Like, give me character details. And like I could admit that like for me with Alistair, like I do acknowledge that he's manipulative, and like he also is like probably up to no good. I'm not gonna lie, but I could see some like vibes of some things that I do, but that are taking a darker tone. Like, and that's part of the reason why I am like, I vibe with him. I also vibe with Charlie. Charlie I vibe with because I can relate with a girl where like we're just want to get somewhere, but we can't. Oh yeah, Lucifer's on point. On point, yes, definitely. Lucifer is good. I love the rubber ducks. Like, if they could just make that a solid merch item of just give me a button-down t-shirt of all the rubber ducks that exist. Please. If I could have the rubber ducks on a t-shirt. Not a t-shirt, like a button-down dress shirt. Like a Hawaiian shirt. Like a Hawaiian button-down, and like it's all the ducks he made. If I could have that, then I would love it. I would love that with a fiery passion. because then I can wear it to one of my I can wear it and I work at a different place, but I wear Hawaiian shirts to one of my jobs, and I would be like, I would wear that in a heartbeat. and it would just be like, I could just say like, oh, it's educational. Rubber ducks are educational because you go and you use rubber ducks in coding, because the whole point of like coding and mathematics is they give you a rubber duck when you're in those majors, so you can talk the problems out to the rubber duck so you can figure out the problem faster. Yes, you get it. You get the ducks. And also, I love the detail in Hazbin that Charlie squeaks like a rubber duck whenever Lucifer hugs her. It's only when Lucifer hugs her that she squeaks. Like, it's weird. But it's also, I'm like, yes, endearing. Love it. You know? Like, it's like so endearing. But yeah. Walks to the door and reaches for the knob. He opens the door. No! Not what I was intending! No! Fix it! No! There. Back. There. Enter. Tab. Yes. Mr. Light. Perfect. And then I'm home. And that. And then we're going to do scene heading. And that. And it's going to be... Yeah, it's totally fine. You know, thanks for, popping into the stream. And if you want to see more of me, I'm actually on YouTube. So you could check me out. I'm Chrissy _ the abyss. So yeah, just you can check me on there, and if you want, subscribe. I really would love it. I would love to have more subscribers, and if you want to see more of this, you can follow down below. Bye. It's good to see you. Interior. And it's gonna be interior. Bedroom. Lights bedroom, because I have to be very specific. Lights bedroom. Day. All right. I think I'm switching shoulder arms for the stupid mic because, like, it's like, oh my gosh. Hey. Let's see. Light sits on a chair at his desk. Light sits on a chair at his desk. He is flipping through, is reading the pages of the Deathnote. Reading the pages of the Deathnote and flipping through it. The words float. Not just float, but they they swirl They swirl above him. Above him. Him. Words swirl above him. All right. Cuz like the idea is that I want it to be like kind of like a storm. Like I want us to feel like as overwhelmed as he's probably feeling by like all these rules and all this information that he's reading. So like it's the words just swirling around him would be like kind of a visualization of that storm in his brain of it just going crazy by like reading this this thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it in VO.O. For those of you who are not versed in script writing, VO means voiceover. So whenever there's VO or OS, that is the character's not on screen. So VO is like they're not on screen. They're nowhere around the screen. They're just talking into the ether in a sense, or talking in someone's brain, right? Those are your thought pieces, all that stuff. Off screen is like they're not physically on screen, but they're in the same room. Hi, new flesh available? That's an interesting name. That's a very interesting name. Nice to meet you. Hi. Love the little emoji. I love it. But yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have Ryuk do the voiceover. The reason why I'm having Ryuk do the voiceover is because this is technically Ryuk's Deathnote. So because it's Ryuk's Deathnote, I would envision that Ryuk is like should be like saying these lines. Whoever's Ryuk's actor should be like saying these lines because Ryuk's kind of like a familiar voice. And in a sense, it's like kind of our way to get a gauge on Light's thoughts. Because like the biggest no when it comes to writing any script is using writing thoughts in scripts, because thoughts are not a visual, and it's not a hearing, unless it's unless it's like a case of like, oh, they're like talking to someone or something like that. There's no reason that you can't they're trying to like play through a conversation before the conversation happens, or oh, it's like or they're hallucinating or something like that. I could see cases for that, but doing narration or anything that detracts from the experience for the audience, because it feels like you're going in and just listening to a slideshow in a sense. So the only time it becomes acceptable is if you're kind of like doing it in a sense like this, where you're like, okay, these are the rules, but technically we need to read out the rules for the audience. And personally, I don't think I would like it better if like the rules are kind of overlapping on themselves in a sense in the scene, where like you start hearing the rule of one rule and it's overlapped by another rule starting, and it's like it gets more like infuriatingly like just like overwhelming in a sense, right? Like the words overlapping. Let me split the dialogue, because I'm going to need to split. If not, I'll do it shot. That. Yes. There you go. Split it. Ryuk voice. Oh. Voice. Now. Over. Okay. But yeah, but we're gonna split the dialogue because I want it to be that we're just hearing the rules at the same time, both rules at the same time, and you're like so overwhelmed, in a sense. Let me see if I could split the dialogue, like I split the other one. Not, I'll do some fancy tricks. Other text, song lyrics, act. Yeah, we're just gonna have to leave it that way. Okay. I guess that's fine. Usually you would split it, but for some reason, maybe is it here? Script settings. Can I split the dialogue? Some of them allow you to. Dual dialogue, here it is. That's what I was missing. Here it is. See? I wasn't crazy. Yay. So yeah. Re-uke v dot o dot. There. And re-uke. And we're doing the voiceover version. And now I'm going to write what is in my book. But yeah, you guys can, like, I am open to conversation. Like, I don't, like, personally, I like talking with people and doing stuff like this. That's part of the reason why I like doing this, is that, like, I don't have an avenue to, like, do this type of teaching, in a sense. I really want to have an avenue to, like, try doing teaching like this, but sadly I don't. And, like, I'm so happy you guys are, tuning along, coming, hanging out with me, stuff like that, especially, I've had, like, an interesting, week where, like, I always find that my luck is kind of like, it's like a pendulum, in a sense. It swings back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then, like, and when it's on one side, I have super, super, super lucky days where, like, I could win the lotto. And then the pendulum just starts swinging all the way back. And then I have very, 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 very bad luck days where everything is going wrong. I'm getting sick. People in my family are in the hospital. Stuff like that. I've had, like, where, like, my brakes gave out. Like, stuff like that. Where my luck just goes out. And then I'm like, great. I just have to wait through it. Wait through it until the luck comes back, in a sense. Until I'm able to be lucky again. And I've had one of those days where it's like, it's on the back swing towards lucky. Where, like, I've had a bad week and it was just coming back to being, like, lucky again, but it wasn't there yet. And then I've been starting to get, like, days where, like, I'm starting to get lucky again. But I always know where I'm at in the pendulum based upon, the days. And I've adopted this, ironically, because of this idea of luck from a TV show, awkwardly enough. Did any of you watch Teen Wolf when you were in high school? I did. And I'm not ashamed to say it, my favorite character was Stiles Stilinski. He was my favorite character. Beside that, Lydia. But it was something that there was the doctor in that show, the veterinarian. He said it's called regression to the mean. Your life is never, like, gonna be, the same. It's always gonna be trying to regress back to the mean, achieve homeostasis, in a sense. And it's until it gets knocked back out of balance again that then it will then slowly go back to the middle until something knocks it back to the backswing, And that was the thing. I kind of, it was nice to, like, kind of like do that, because it felt like that was the right idea of what life is, in a sense. You're always, like, it's always trying to regress back to the mean. It's always trying to find homeostasis. You're always trying to find balance. And 40 seconds. Okay. But yeah. Let me see how you guys are doing. Oh, there's only one of you. Well, yeah. Only one of you, but that's totally fine. That one viewer. That stayed around. Nice to see you. I like it. Thank you for staying. You know, staying around. I appreciate. But yeah. Let me see. So let me continue writing this. If the cause of death is not specified, the person will simply die of a heart attack. But yeah. I think I'm gonna take a little break so I can get some water. Just give me a sec. I need to drink some water, and give me like 2 minutes. Okay, you guys? I need water. I'm back. Okay, I'm back. I got water. I was thirsty. Thirsty. So yeah, so back to my mic. Hi. Stop. Okay. But yeah. Yeah. So pretty much we're gonna continue writing the dialogue. And yeah. So let's write this dialogue. So okay. All right. But yeah. So I envision the scene like that where like it's swirling around. We're hearing the audio overlapping of like words getting overlapped, and so that some being more focused than others, some being indistinguishable. If cause of death. But yeah, it's kind of like did you watch like Scott Pilgrim, where like they kind of like have like the words like pop out across the screen whenever something happens. It's kind of like that in a sense, right? Making sure everything looks good. But yeah, it's kind of like that where like we're getting like the dialogue on screen like that. Is plus it gives like a weird sinister vibe of like the words like being like kind of like preying on him. It gives its own like imagery and sense. Seconds. 10 seconds. 40 seconds of writing the person's death, person's name. It will happen. Okay. It will happen. One of these times, like I know at some point, I've got to write, like, someone gets defenestrated. If you don't know what defenestrated means, it means being thrown out a window. I didn't know there was a word for that before watching a show called Puppet History. And apparently in Prague, that was a common thing that they did to most of their, like, politicians. They defenestrated their politicians. And I just want one, like, because one thing that I can think of, like, for Light, as he starts, like, pulling out a dictionary, because he has to find out memorize how to spell, like, the word for whatever it is, because it's a lot easier to write than writing a whole sentence of what it is. So, like, Jack defenestrated Jill. You know what I mean? Like, that's quicker than Jack threw Jill out a window. You know? Like, you get what I mean, right? It's a lot faster to write, right? If you can memorize what each cause of death is as one word. Right? I'm not crazy here, right? Like, that feels like something that Light would do. Like, he would get really good at spelling things. Just so that way he can make his life optimized. Because I feel he would just optimize just killing people that way. And, like, I can imagine he has those old-fashioned, like, you know those old-fashioned dictionaries that they would sell to people? Like, I remember my grandfather had like a collection of these, and I was so confused why they existed for the longest time, because the reason why I was confused is that, like, I grew up in the age of the internet. So because I grew up in the age of the internet, I'm like, Grandpa, why didn't you, like, just look it up on the internet? And my poor little brain did not realize that that people did not, have the internet before I was born. Cuz, like, I kind of fall on the cusp of, like, I'm not exactly a millennial, but I'm not exactly a Gen Zer either. Cuz, like, I have some memories of, like, that some millennials had to experiences some millennials had to deal with, but I have the experience of a lot of Gen Zers, like the things I'd missed out on because I was a Gen Zer. Like, so, like, I don't know what it was like for people, like what life was like pre-internet. Never experienced dial-up internet, but the caveat, but I did have got mail. I do remember Clippy. And I remember flip phones. But I never had to deal with dial-up internet. I really did not grow up in a time where everyone had money. Like, I never grew up in a time where anybody had money. So, like, I don't have that memory like a Gen Zer would have. But I have, like, the memory of, like, what an iPhone looked like. Like, just, like, makeover. Because, like, iPhones came out when I was, like, little. So I knew what they looked like. I wanted one for the longest time. And then learned I didn't want one for the longest. I never got one because I learned I didn't really like, iPhone or, like, anything. I have a hatred towards Apple in general. Like, Apple products. Like, I'm a Samsung person. I don't, I'm not about, like, I'm not about, like, Apple. Because the thing is that Samsung, you can, like, customize the phone a lot more. You can, like, it's a lot more optimized because you don't have to, like, oh, this one button does, like, 10 different features. Where on a Samsung, you have 3 buttons, and then they take you to other features that you can use. That's a lot easier to use. Like, and then on top of that, like, they make it so easy to not need blue light glasses. For those of you who are still here, do not buy blue light glasses unless you are a video editor. Unless you are a video editor where you have to make sure your screen is, like, looking the right way, like, looking like how it's supposed to, don't do it. Absolutely don't do it. I'm telling you. Because on both iPhone and Samsung and all electronic devices, you can actually change it so that way your screen is warmer. Like warmer toned. Not kidding. On an iPhone, you go to accessibility, you go to display and text size, because of course they hid it in there. You then click color filter. You then click the color that you want to do it. Avoid the colorblind selections. If you're colorblind, that's great. Use those. But if you're not, click on yellow. Slide that slider to the yellowest yellow you can get it, and then slide it till it's almost, you can't see the, then when you click on the slider for intensity, lower till it's almost where you can't see it, but you could tell it's still there. Right? If you do that, you're all set. That's literally all you have to do. But because Apple hides it from you, you guys, you have to do all that work. Whereas on the Samsung phone, we just go to our notifications, go to our buttons, quick buttons menu, and click color shield. It's just one button. We don't even have to worry about like going and getting it all set up like that. We just do. And it's fine. You know? Same name will not be affected. Will not be affected. Okay. And then dialogue. The human whose name is written in this note shall die. There you go. And then what we're going to do is now action. Come on. Thank you. Describe. Light closes the book. Closes the Deathnote. He sits back. He leans back. Leans back in his chair. Leans back in his chair. His chair. And he rests his hand on his head. The word spiral dissipates. The word spiral dissipates. 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 He leans back in his chair and sighs. What is happening? Like, what is going on? Why can't I see the rest of my document? No? What is going on? I'm just going to do this because, like, for some reason, it's, like, not allowing me to see more. Which I'm like, what the hell? Let me see. File. Save. Okay. He rests his hand on his head. Tab. And light. And talk about sick. Talk about sick. Why is everyone talk about sick? Why is everyone into this crap anyways? It's like one of those chain letters that say you'll cancer if you don't pass them on. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this light gets up from his chair. Gets up from his chair and gets up from his chair and walks to his bed. His bed. He lays down on the bed. He lays down on the bed. Bed. Okay. Tab. Write their name and they die. Write their name and they die. Die. They die. Light yawns and rolls over to his side. Light. How stupid. How stupid. Okay. File. Save. All right. And okay. Let's see. I could keep going. But I think I'm at the end of where the stream's going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read what we have so far. And then I'm going to read whoever's left here to whoever I want to send it, if I can read. I haven't done a read before, but we'll see if I can read. Let me see. But yeah, let me read this real quick to see where are we at of what we have done today. So I'm going to skip what we have here, but what we've only done today, okay? So interior classroom day. Students write notes and listen to their teacher talking about the Great War. Light, late teens, wearing a preppy high school uniform and has hair that is box-dyed, sits at his desk and stares out the window. Mr. Teacher, during the Great War, naval officials needed to give up-to-date information about different operations without other countries listening in, so they encrypted their messages with a modified typewriter, and they were successful in fending off enemy attacks. The world is a rotten mess. Mr. Teacher, what was the name of that machine? Yagami, do you know the answer? Enigma. Correct. Light goes back to looking out the window. A notebook falls down past the window. Light watches it land on the grass. The bell chimes. Students get up from their seat and pack up their bags around Light. The doors from the school building swing open, and students walk through the open doorway. The schoolyard is well maintained and has multiple benches to sit on. Light walks from the open doorway with his fellow students and walks towards the grass area. He walks towards... What are you doing, Celtics? What is this? I don't want headers and footers. Maybe if I recycle it. I think it fixed the problem. Yeah, it fixed the problem. Okay. So it did fix the problem. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay, the doors from the school building swing open. The students walk through the open doorway. The schoolyard is well maintained and has multiple benches to sit on. Light walks from the open doorway with his fellow students and walks towards the grass area. He walks towards the notebook on the grass. He picks it up and dusts it with his hand. Light, Deathnote. Is this supposed to be a Deathnote's notebook? Light opens the notebook and flips through the pages. Light, geez, is it all in English? Light closes the Deathnote and puts it in his bag. Exterior Light's house. Day. Modestly sized house with a wooden electric gate. The house matches every house on the street. Light walks towards the house and stops at the gate. He types in a pin on the keypad of the gate. The gate opens. Light walks through the open gate. He walks to the front door, reaches for the knob. He opens the door. Light, I'm home. Interior Light's bedroom. Light sits on his chair, at his desk. He is reading the pages of the death note and flipping through it. The words swirl above him. After writing the cause of death in the details of the death should be written in the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds. If the cause of death is not specified, the person will simply die of a heart attack. If the cause of death is fix this. Is written within 40 seconds of writing the person's name, it will happen. This note will not take effect unless the writer has the person's face in their mind while writing his or her name. Therefore, people sharing the same name will not be affected. The human whose name is written in the note shall die. Light closes the death note. The word spiral dissipates. He leans back in his chair and sighs. He rests his hand on his head. Light. Talk about sick. Why is everyone into this crap anyways? It's like one of those chain letters. One letter off and I'm giving him cats. Jeez. Chain letters. That say you'll get cancer if you don't pass them on. I think this is too much. I think it's like one of those chain letters. Wait, what? Oh my gosh. There, that's a little better. It's like one of those chain letters. Light gets up from his chair and walks to his bed. He lays down on the bed. Light. Write their name and they die. Light yawns and rolls over to his side. How stupid. And that's what we have so far. But yeah, we've been writing so much that this thing is like glitching out. Which is kind of funny. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go and find someone to read.